Hi, it's Maya here of the Vincent's Superannuation Advisory team, and welcome to the latest instalment in the SMSF rules, Getting It Right. So this particular video, we're going to cover off on the key rules to obey when investing in property. You can only buy property in your SMSF if you comply with the rules, and there are 4 key rules that you need to comply with. The first is that the purchased must comply with the sole purpose test. The second rule to obey is that you can't buy that property from a member of the fund or one of their related parties. Thirdly, that member or their relatives cannot live in the property that is owned by the SMSF. And the fourth key rule to remember and always obey is to make sure that the property isn't rented by any of the members of the fund or their relatives or related parties. Now, there is an exception to this, and that is where you're purchasing commercial property. So if you're a member of the fund and you have a business or one of your associated entities is running a business, then it can rent that commercial property from your super fund, but it must comply with strict rules and pay market rate rent. So in practice, these 4 key rules mean that you can't go with the intention of buying a holiday home that you're going to use while it's owned by the super fund, or you go in with the intent that you're going to buy a property and move into it when you retire. It also means you can't use your self-managed superannuation fund as a way to get your kids in the property market by buying them a residential property and renting it to them. These are all strictly prohibited. If you are considering purchasing a property in your self-managed super fund, then you need to make sure that it aligns with your investment strategy and also that it's in line with the risk profile of your members and the fund. Now, it's really important that you get this right because there are quite high entry and exit costs associated with buying and selling property. So if you get it wrong, you may have to get rid of the property and it's going to be a costly exercise. It's also important to note that you can borrow to purchase property in your self-managed super fund, but it's under very strict conditions, under what we call a limited recourse borrowing arrangement. And I'll cover off on that next week. So if you're looking at acquiring and holding property in your self-managed super fund, then it's really important that you get these 4 rules right and that you obey them at all times. So you need to make sure you get the purchase right, and while you're holding it, that you're following these rules, because failure to do so is costly. And it is for this reason that you should reach out to your SMS advisor before you go and enter into any contracts to purchase property in your fund. As always, if you have any questions about buying property in your fund or anything in general for SMSF, reach out to me by direct message in LinkedIn or pop a comment below. Thank you.